Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's edition of the Just Us Review. We like to take our favorite superhero shows, deconstruct them, and give you guys the breakdown of what happened and how we feel about them.
They suck this week.
We're going to pop off first with a quick run to this week's episode of The Flash. Now, to top it off, what's his name? Bloodsport?
Bloodwork.
Whatever. Bloodwork starts the episode off how he ended it, attacking Elongated Man and infected him with an STD. Later on, Barry shows up to try to help cure him, but in doing so, gets infected and now is trying to fight the internal struggle between good and evil. In the B plot, it don't matter. So, let's get started. How do we feel about this episode?
Oh my god.
Limping towards crisis.
So here's my thing. Your plan was to fight the elongated man, infect him with your AIDS or whatever STD that you have, and then in the hopes that Barry would give him a blood transfusion and he get infected by your STD, your AIDS, and then you can get in his mind and manipulate him. That is a convoluted as fuck plan.
It's downright dumb, and I don't know why they don't keep, bags of Barry's blood on hand for a situation in case he needed it. But, that's neither here nor there.
I'm going to push back a little. I don't think that was his plan. I don't think his plan was to get to Barry.
You just think he just stupidly ran into this?
I just think he wanted to attack the elongated man. Because his whole thing was that everybody needs to be infected so that everybody, could do the blood shit to stop death.
So we literally spend the next 45 minutes inside of Barry while he's trying to debate whether he should let the blood consume him or should he trust the Speed Force and fight back.
And of course he lets it consume him.
Because he's a punk.
He's weak.
He literally cries.
He always was weak. He's always going to be weak. I hope Crisis kills him.
he seriously does nothing but cry most of the episode. Like, at one point, it just got uncomfortable because I'm like, yo, man, it's your mama right there. I'm going to need you to do a little bit better. So, while this is going on, Iris is at her blog newspaper thing trying to find a story on some dude. And trying to expose them, and then her assistant tells her that she knows who the Flash is. And Iris freaks out. Is like, you can't expose who the Flash identity is. I was like, wait a second. Your whole job is exposing people, but when your assistant has the information to expose the Flash, that's crossing the line.
And then let's be real, like, if she didn't know before, then you leaving your fucking laptop open with the article that you're gonna write before the shit even happens, yeah, that exposed him. So no, you fucking exposed your husband.
You are a journalist. And the story that you're writing, not even password protected, not even shut down to put in sleep mode.
You didn't even close the laptop.
It just literally left up, and she accidentally brushed against it and see, oh, you're writing an article about the Flash disappearing in 2 days. But what the fuck ever. Like I said, this was a trash episode. They realized, hey, we don't have to do anything because Crisis is the next episode.
I guess we glad Iris don't look at porn on her computer. So here's something that's really been irking me. Like 4 episodes or so ago, didn't Indiana Wells say, I know how to save Barry Allen?
Yeah, but we all know he's full of shit to begin with.
Okay, so we just dropping loose points and then just leaving them there, huh?
But my thing is, with all it was, we're seriously going this possession route, not knowing that we have to wrap up stuff because is Barry gonna be possessed during Crisis? Obviously not.
And it looks so cringe and silly too, because he got like that black shit on his teeth and shit, like
he just been doing meth from Minnesota.
Exactly.
But again, trash episode wasn't even worth watching. It's a serious waste of your time. Let's move on to something else.
Meanwhile, at the Hall of...
All right, we're back, and we're trying to fall in line for this week's episode of The Arrow.
So let's give you the good, the bad, and the Laurel.
All right, nothing good. Oddly enough, nothing bad because the shit was all laurels. Mm-hmm. It was terrible from the ground up. So this episode, you ready for it? You ready for it? It was a Groundhog's Day episode. That's right. whenever something happened, Oliver, of course, would wake back up and repeat the day all over again. So, shooting this episode took all of 5 minutes.
You know what? I'll push back a little bit. There's one good. I can genuinely say I was happy to see Lance again.
I like my Lance drunk and sloppy. So we find out that Oliver wakes up, and him and Laura are the only ones who are aware of what's going on, and they believe their objective is to stop whatever's happening in Star City, which is the death of Quentin Lance. So they of course muster up everything they can to stop it. Lila keeps popping up and says you guys aren't learning your lessons, and then of course towards the end they learn their lessons, which is to let shit go. This is why this episode is so goddamn terrible.
No, the lesson was to accept inevitability.
Sorry, accept inevitability.
Like it fucking matters.
This is why this episode is so goddamn terrible. First of all, the Monitor, this all-powerful fucking being, it still plays kids' games. Why are we doing this? Why was this episode necessary?
You know what really pissed me off? After, when you realize it's Groundhog Day and you keep waking up. Why didn't you just go punch Lila in the face? She's doing this. You should have immediately, first of all, I was getting pissed because they kept going to the party.
Yeah.
And it was
why are we doing this?
Stop going to the party.
Stop taking the time to put on your outfit. Stop doing...
none of this shit matters.
So here's my thing, Lila, super expert, Monitor, toady or whatever. You basically put this... If this was a test for them, how are they supposed to know this was a test? You didn't tell them anything. You didn't give them any kind of hints or clues. All they knew is if Lance died, everything would start over. So, of course, the logical thing for him to figure out is don't let Lance die.
And then you later figure out, I just have to let Lance die.
And let's get it right here. The whole point of the lesson, which is inevitability, is fucking stupid. If that's the case, then why are you recruiting them for a crisis?
If the crisis is inevitable.
If the crisis is inevitable, what is this for? Let them chill out at home and let the crisis ride out there.
Because that is the worst message to give. You literally recruited these heroes to stop the crisis because this was the only way to stop it. But yet you want them to accept inevitability, which means to stop fighting.
Exactly. I'm recruiting you to stop the crisis, but you gotta learn this lesson. The lesson is you can't stop shit. Leave me the fuck alone. Oliver had quit. He was in retirement. He was living life with his stupid baby and his wife. Maybe if he had stuck around, Mia wouldn't grow up to be a piece of shit. But no.
She got a piece of shit in her DNA.
But he could have curved that.
But no. That's not the most egregious thing about this episode. Mm-hmm. The most egregious thing about this episode is that this is it. This is a season finale. This is a series finale. After this season, there's no more. You're supposed to be knocking them out of the park every episode. But this is just a Groundhog's Day episode.
What did I say a few weeks ago? If I'm in charge of the final season of Arrow, I got 10 episodes. Every episode got to be banger. And we only had one okay one, which was the first one.
And Robert Townsend for damn sure directed one. But this is how you want to end it? This is the hill you want to die on? This is how you want your legacy to be finished.
Oh, and spoiler alert, they're going back to Lee and you because we never get tired of it. Y'all gonna wear that island out.
They've already worn it out.
I could have sworn they blew it up.
I don't know, man. Whatever. Sorry. I'm tired of shitting on this show. Let's go to something else. Alright people, we're going to spark off today with today's episode of Black Lightning. Now, the hero is back and he's black, and today's episode, is a little bit shaky. The ASA are still reeling from the whole Odell being shot, so they stepped it up. Now, it's more oppression on the citizens of Freeland, and Freeland is ready to fight back. But you know what? Some loyalties are being questioned now, and people are starting to see Black Lightning as a potential enemy. What do we think about this episode?
I'm not gonna lie to you. This episode was kind of a downer for me. Like, this is the first slip up this season.
Now, he's right, but it seems like the shows are limping towards Crisis. They're looking at Crisis as their payoff event. Because honestly, everybody felt stale and stagnated in this episode. But I will say one of the breakout performances was Henderson. Henderson actually approaches Jefferson. Well, so Black Lightning goes and defuses a bomb that was set up to allow for the kids to escape. And Black Lightning shows up and poops on the party. Now, Henderson shows up to his house like a grown-ass man. And it's like, yo, what you doing? We trying to free people from this occupation and you stopping them. And honestly, I didn't get Jefferson's rationality. I didn't understand where he was coming from.
So basically, it's optics. It's you don't fight oppressors by doing too much. I guess by a bomb, an explosion or a bomb will give them more more drive to go and be as oppressive as they already.
But
are.
everybody knows what they're doing.
Everyone knows.
Everybody knows that the ASA is sitting there putting foots in asses.
Yeah.
My thing is, fuck the optics. We're trying to free our children. I don't care about how this looks. We're trying to get them out.
So I'm gonna kind of agree with what you're saying, specifically because considering who they have on their side compared to what the ASA is doing, this is gonna sound fucked up, but it will be who of the resistance to team up with the Markovians if you're talking about fuck the optics. But they can't do that because the Markovians are just as bad as the fucking ASA.
If not worse.
So they have to fight with what they have, and all they have are regular people and maybe Black Lightning and maybe Blackbird.
Now, Blackbird, as we learned later, is still trying to recover from her being poisoned by Khalil.
Which is why I say maybe Blackbird.
But how do you feel about this wishy-washy Black Lightning?
So I'll say this. When I said that this episode was a downer and you said Henderson was a standout, so I'm going to go further. I think this episode really relied on all the support characters because I really think that the Pierce family is what's fucking it up for me right now because I felt like all the Pierce family was fucking dumb this week.
Okay, speaking of which, I gotta give a shout out to the pastor because the pastor had one of the most stone cold lies I ever had. So the ASA was breaking into the church and they made it look like they were coming in close on the kids. But then instead, they were hiding at an old dude's bar. Mm-hmm. When old dude shows up in the door,
2 bits.
Yeah, 2 bits. The preacher had the gun on him and he was like, man, I almost sent your ass to the promised land. He was ready to go.
By the way, like I feel like I know this, but where did he get the gold Resident Evil gun?
Somebody dropped it off in the collection plate.
Because he's Creflo.
Now this scene shook me a little bit because I was like, on one hand, you have your faith because while he was holding the gun, he was praying. And at the same time, juxtaposed to the fact that you have a gun in your hand. Mm-hmm.
Well, it wasn't really much of a conflict for me because we live in a day and age where, let's take it to the extreme and say if this was slavery and you had you had your gun, you got to protect your family and protect the worst possible thing that can happen. You can pray all you want to, but prayer will only get you so far.
Exactly.
But my thing is also, this actually showed, this was one of the strongest moments I've seen in a character out this series. Mm-hmm. Because he knew the odds going in.
Well, this wasn't much different what he did when Khalil tried to run up on him.
Exactly.
I would say the character in and of itself, which is due in part to Clifton Powell's performance. Let's get that out of the way. Yeah. This character evolved drastically for me from season 1 when we thought he was shady to season 2 where like
he might flip. I don't know.
Yeah, to season 3 where it's like he's all in with the
resistance.
Exactly.
And he also dropped that jewel. All your skin folk ain't your kin folks. Yeah. So
and then that one girl, they gonna catch up. Hush up, girl.
We was about to whoop her.
Every week there's one in the group.
Exactly.
Hush your mouth. So moving the ball further down the field, Lynn It's now like Gambi rolls up the. I know. We gonna get there. We gonna get there together. Okay, so Gambi goes up to Lynn and is like, "Yo, it's some shady stuff going on with the ASA that I need to see these records." And Lynn is a little hesitant, but she later agrees to get him in there. Before we get there, while in the ASA, Gambi discovers that he's had suspicions, but he discovers that Khalil is alive. Now, this section, how do we feel about that?
I'm gonna say something.
Terrible, all bad.
I'm gonna say something.
We know
all terrible, all bad. We're on week 4. Let's not forget that Lynn was drugged by a creepy old guy and half of the shit that she's doing. I will say it until they resolve this.
I'm sorry, but now we're at a point where you now know.
Let him finish it.
You now know. You have looked at the dead body of your daughter's boyfriend laying on a slab alive, and you activated him, so you know that he's been reprogrammed, and you know that he killed his own mother.
You also have access to all his memories. Go.
On top of that, you were told by the ASA, "Oh no, he dead. He dead." So you know the ASA is lying to you.
That is true, but you know what's gonna happen at the end of this entire season when this storyline is over?
It's all going to be blamed on the drugs.
Exactly. But see, that's the thing. They did that to give her an out. Had they written it how I would have written it, there would not be drugs involved.
It would just be Lynn making bad decisions.
This is the shit, exactly. This is the shit I was talking about when I said that they do her a disservice with the storytelling.
Now, if it comes out later that those drugs were placebos and she was doing this on her own.
But they not gonna do that.
But we don't know.
Not only are they not placebos, she made that drug.
So she did not make the drug that was put in her wine.
No. The subsequent drugs that she eats like candy, she took the harmful parts out, and now she's eating what she wants.
I'm aware of that, but she still got hooked on a drug that they put in her wine.
No, she didn't.
Yes, she did.
No,
Then what
was the point of putting the drugs in her wine?
Thank you.
The point of the drugs was to get her exposed, so that they gave her a mild version of it.
So you're saying limitless,
like kind of.
So
she created a limitless form of the drug.
So did you ever see the TV show Limitless?
No.
Basically, what the guy, it was negative side effects in the movie. The guy took the drug and they figured out how to take some of this harmful stuff out of it, but he was still taking it. Like
I refuse to let her skateboard off the drugs.
If you gonna skateboard off the drugs, it's the fact that the show is going to do that.
But we're going to agree.
I'm sorry we taking up so much time.
We're going to agree to disagree on this one and kick the ball further down the field.
I'll just say this. Let's see where it goes at the end of the season. Hopefully we won't have to bring up the drug stuff too soon, but let's just see how they resolve it.
So wait. So now we got Jennifer and Geodude. And I know what I said.
You sand attack.
So Jennifer rolls up into Geodude and like, yo, I like when our powers combine. Can we do that? So how do we feel about this scene?
I'm
not liking
it to me too.
Because it
went nowhere.
Like Jennifer came off like a fucking child. It's like when it was you like it, and you can't blame drugs for this. But when she wanted to, figure out Khalil and help Khalil.
But she did offer to smoke. So.
No, she didn't synthesize marijuana to a point where she could just take it whenever she wanted. But, when it was all about Khalil, when it was all about doing the shit that she wanted to do, she needed everybody's help. And now she sees that someone else, which, if in my honest opinion, is in a worse spot than where she was last season, and she's manipulating him. That's fucking dirty.
So do you think this is like Odell kind of like rubbing off on her?
We know Odell.
Or is this Jen just making stupid decisions?
I think it's Jen making stupid decisions.
Well, you saw that because when she got in the car with the new head of the ASA, she was like, all right, I'm going to get that car and go beat some ass right quick. So you knew that the influence was already there. She just at the point where she's now allowed to do whatever she wants to do. Because who's checking her at this point?
Nobody.
All right, so we got this going down.
Speaking of which, can we talk about the new leader of the ASA?
You mean Buffalo Gal?
I was going to talk about the 12-year-old. How you going to send somebody to run an organization who looks younger than me?
I don't know, but she needs to be punched in the face.
I don't respect the intern.
So moving it down, now we have, Anissa, and she's trying to say bye to Grace.
Yeah.
Now, honestly, I've been hoping for a stronger presence from Grace for her to. I understand that everything she went through, but Grace has been progressively breaking down as the episodes have been going.
And
forward.
this was fucking stupid too, because you brought back Grace out of nowhere randomly. She's been crying in a corner for 3 or 4 episodes, and we stuck with it because we was like, it's gonna lead to something. And now it leads to, you have to go now. Your planet needs you. What the fuck? Like, that was a waste of everybody's time.
You know what's fucked up about that even more? I feel like this was supposed to be a Grace-heavy episode, and this is what they give us. But this speaks to what I was saying in regards to escalation as far as fighting the ASA. Like, you have another meta that you could use.
But the writers have made her so broken to the point where now she's just a victim.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
Grace has been perpetual victim from day one, and I haven't seen growth from it.
But one of the standout scenes that they did have was the moment between Anissa and Jefferson, because Jefferson shows up and Anissa's like, "Look, Dad, I need you to do this one thing," and Jefferson tries to give her some pushback, like, this ain't the way to do it. And she's like, "Look, I am tired. I am broken, and I'm trying to, and otherwise, because she's like, I'm strong, and I try to do everything on my own. But this is somebody I love and I care about." And she even gave into her pride and was like, "Look, I'm just asking you this. Can you do this one thing for me?" And I saw that weakness in Anissa.
Vulnerability.
That vulnerability in Anissa that I haven't seen before.
Okay, I heavily disagree.
Okay.
And the reason was because it validates. So in the scene before it, we had Henderson and Jefferson going at it, because Henderson basically saying the only reason that you fucking us around because you want to do this my way or the highway bullshit. I ain't none of your fucking kids.
Which was dope.
Mm-hmm.
By making her bend the knee like that, you validate his my way or the highway bullshit.
So I disagree with you because I saw it totally differently.
Okay.
Because to me, it felt like she was manipulating Jefferson.
Manipulation?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Because before he could even really give pushback, she was like, "And I went and got your student when you wanted me to." Like for real, like, you could have just asked him first. But and then if he gave you pushback,
I'm gonna disagree with you. Alright, so it's a little bit of manipulation, but it's an emotional type of manipulation. I'm not trying to appeal to you as superhero to superhero. Appealing to you as your daughter to father kind of thing. Like, we talk about relationship stuff. I see, you and Mom, but this is my true love and all this stuff. We talked about this past few episodes, but she's not like the other ones. Like, I need her to be safe, and I need you to do this one thing for me. So it was manipulation, but from the standpoint of child to father.
But that's cool. Each of us have our different opinion on this take, but you know what? Still well worth to dive in. But to top this all off, I mean, it was a slow drag this episode. It looks like, everybody was looking at the clock like, okay, it's Thanksgiving and the next day, let's hurry this up. But other than all the while, a weak episode, but they still has some substance to it. Okay, so before we shut down, we have one more thought. Go for it.
All right, so at the end of the day, the ASA still stepped it up no matter what the resistance was doing, because Black Lightning may have stopped that bomb and it didn't escalate right then and there, but they still kicking in doors, dragging people out their homes.
Yeah, like the one scene with the old dude, and it was like, what? He's like a Butterfinger. What the hell is that? and they still stumped it out. I was like, yo, you can't stump out Grady.
Yeah.
and then at the end, the whole key piece at the end, where now Khalil's new assignment is now Black Lightning.
Yeah, but one thing that didn't really sit right with me, or maybe editing, or maybe they cut something out. Did you see that one ASA agent who kind of looked like he was
dipped off?
Well, he was seeing what they were doing, and it seemed like he didn't like where the ASA was taking things.
Was he the same one that dipped off?
He's the same one that went to go find Grace and got ate by a jaguar.
Yeah.
So
what was the point? What was the point of showing that growth when he just ended up in somebody's tummy?
That was pretty weird.
I'm like, what was it misdirection? Was
I mean, because I was thinking he was gonna find her and say, "Hey, little girl, what's wrong?" And then she'd be like, "Please don't attack us. The ASA is mean." And then he just walked away. But
like,
no.
we're not all that bad. Or
Anyway,
Well, I mean, you live that life, you die by that life.
thank you guys for joining us for this episode of the Just Us Review. Hopefully next week will be better, but I'm not holding my breath. Like and subscribe. We got plenty of content for you guys to look at, but until next time.
Isn't Crisis starting?
No, Crisis starts the next week on Sunday.
Crisis is what we've been watching these past couple episodes. But until next time, peace.
Buffalo gas.